And joining us on the line, it's great to be chatting to her again, Camille Trail. G'day, Camille. How you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing all right today. I'm doing okay. Whereabouts are you at the moment? Are you COVID-free or, what's the situation? Are you able to get out and do things? You're not in lockdown. What's your situation at the moment for you?
Yeah, so I'm not at home at the moment. I'm up in North Queensland. I'm actually in Mossman at the moment. So I'm lucky I'm not in lockdown, and I guess I'm in my van actually, and I'm kind of cruising around trying to get as many gigs as I can. So it's been pretty good, yeah.
Well, that's good, and you're keeping safe, which is another main thing as well. So cruising around in your van sort of takes us back to bygone era. And have you been well received cruising around in your van? You've been able to get the odd gig?
Yeah, I actually played at a festival last weekend called the Beam Up. It's called Black Mountain Unplugged. It's up near Cooktown, and
Yep.
I'm playing again there this weekend. So it's so nice to be able to play, especially with all the gigs cancelled. It's just the main thing I wanted. I didn't want to stay at home and sulk and feel sorry for myself. So it's really nice to play.
So when you're doing these shows, are you sort of taking a moment just to soak it in and really appreciate it because you know how valuable they are and how easy they can be taken away from you?
Yeah, for sure. And I think definitely much more so now. We did have a tour planned, and unfortunately that's pretty much nearly all been kind of cancelled or postponed. So yeah, I'm definitely not taking any gig for granted because it can literally in a couple of hours be taken away from you.
I spoke to someone last week who had woke up to their computer, opened up their emails, and they had a little tour with 27 shows all gone. He said it wasn't the nicest email to wake up to. So I do feel for you and understand what you're going through.
Yeah, every time you see an email pop up and it's got the show dates in the subject line, you just know straight away. You're like, no, we've lost them all.
Yeah, and some of them you're going to be venturing into essay and that's it must be really hard even to plan for your life, where you're going to be and how it's all going to, because you've got this new album out and you want to be able to play and perform the songs, and that must be a bit frustrating too.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I'm actually in the process of my partner and I are moving as well, so it's all life is very chaotic at the moment. I don't really know where I'm going to be next month, where I'm going to be living. It's a bit crazy at the moment.
The life of a musician in a van. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, your new album, it is called River of Sins. It is already out, and I understand it's already doing quite well. It's top 5 on the ARIA charts.
Yeah, that was so exciting. I couldn't believe that. It's really nice too because you spend so many years kind of getting ready for the album, and it's so much hard work, and you invest so much into it, and it's really nice for it to receive accolades like that. It kind of makes all the blood, sweat and tears worth it.
How did you celebrate?
Well, I was actually by myself in the van, so I think, and actually that night I was going to a campsite and I was running late, and then I got the call. I was like, I'm going to go buy a bottle of wine. So I just had a nice chill night, and I had a glass of wine for myself. It was really nice.
Well, good on you. Well, however you celebrate, you'll remember it, so it's good on you. And you celebrated. That's the main thing too, so well done.
Yeah, exactly.
So the album's called River of Sins, and why call it River of Sins? What sins are you trying to, are you navigating through, or you're sharing? What's going on here, Camille?
Well, we were originally going to name the album Devil's Drink, which is one of the tracks on there. And but we thought, we want something new. We don't want to announce an album and everyone's already heard of that song type thing. So we looked at all the other tracks on the album, and none of them really jumped out as an album title. And then we thought, well, let's go through the lyrics. And there was that lyric in one of my songs, Deal with the Devil, and it says, I made a deal with the rivers, I'm going to wash away my sins.
Yep.
And then we kind of thought of River of Sins, and we were like, that kind of has a cool ring to it because it's a bit darker and mysterious, and it kind of reflects the music on the album. It's a bit more darker with a bit of gospel in there as well, and a bit bluesy. So we thought that really kind of reflected the album. And I actually was going through my old songwriting books, and about 3 years ago I wrote this song, and I called the song River of Sin. So I must have subconsciously liked that title.
Well, it's a very cool title. I thought, oh, okay, what are we in for here? And I understand, according to the note I've got here, that you're saying it's an album to sit down with a whiskey and enjoy. So is that I should just go get a nice whiskey and sit back and just chill to your album? Yeah,
for sure. I think it's definitely a more chilled kind of album, and the songs in there are a bit more darker themes, and some songs are very easy listening to. Others can be a little more kind of confronting, I suppose. Yeah.
What was it like working with Shane Nicholson? How did he help you to keep this album on track?
Shane he's an absolute just genius, talented freak.
Yeah.
And working with him has been really, really good for my music, but also just me as a person. And like, kind of when you're a new artist and you're releasing a debut album, like it can be very kind of scary.
Yeah.
And you kind of don't really know what to expect. But Shane has been amazing. He's a very good kind of confidence builder, I suppose. And I wouldn't have trusted anyone more with my album than him.
I interviewed Shane a few years back, and I asked him about his role as a producer. And I said, have you got advice that you give to artists? And he said, basically was, what's the hardest thing for them to learn? And he said, the hardest thing for young songwriters like yourself, Camille, is to try and get them, to encourage them to get out of the way of the song. So how was that for you? How were you able to get out of the way?
Yeah, that's one thing that I learned a lot with Shane, is like you've got to let the songs speak for themselves. And a lot of this time, like some songs, I had an idea of how I wanted it to sound, and I'd say to Shane, oh, yeah, I want it to sound like this. And he'd kind of been obsessing over that idea for so long, and then Shane was like, yeah, that's really cool, but this song, that's not for this song. Like, this song wants something else, and you've got to go with what this song wants for the production. And I guess it's a bit of almost a tough pill to swallow, because for so long, and it was my first time ever recording it, I was like, no, this is like what I've always imagined this song sounding like. But you do have to let go and just let the song be the song and what it's meant to be, I suppose.
Yeah, as you said, it's the hardest thing for an artist to learn, and even he himself admits it, even for him with his own music. But yeah, to get out of the way, and I guess for a novice and someone who just loves music like me, it's a hard thing to understand, but you have to. I can get where you're coming from, that it takes a life of its own, and you can kind of. I guess years ago there was that sort of overproduced sort of sound that was coming out of America on everything, and you kind of liked it for a minute, and then you started to hate it because everything was so overproduced, and even the producing was overproduced, and it just you wanted to strip it all back and just get back to, I guess, the rawness of it all, which in your album you've certainly done that and accomplished that rather well.
Oh, yay, thank you.
So I understand you like gospel. What's your favourite gospel song?
Oh, I really like, I guess it's probably a bit more bluesy, but I always loved Billie Holiday.
Yeah.
And she sings a song, Strange Fruit, and that was I heard that and I was like, whoa. And then that's kind of what got me into listening to more of that blues gospel kind of music.
It's a sound that once you hear it, you can never unhear it.
Exactly. And there's also this other band called Lady Blacksmith Mambazo.
Yep.
And they're amazing as well. So.
Yes, they certainly are. I know who you're talking about, and I've loved that music as well. You also, I note here, you say you love vulnerable music. So why do you love vulnerable music? Why does it speak to you?
I guess it's kind of like what you were saying before. I don't like overproduced things. I like real music, and I think vulnerable music, I think it just touches people, and I think that's the whole point of music. You write music to be able to kind of communicate and connect with people, and I think vulnerable music probably does that a little more than just your typical kind of pop song. Pop songs like make you feel good, but I feel like it's the vulnerable music that really kind of cuts deep, and you listen to it and you're like, oh, wow. So like those lyrics were written for me, and I feel like it's the vulnerable music that gets people through.
It certainly does. Now, listening to your album as I have over the last couple of days and thoroughly enjoying it, and I get this sense that Camille Trail, the artist, is very comfortable in her own skin, but Camille Trail, the individual, not so much. Am I sort of semi-correct here?
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'm only 22, and I guess, I'm sure there's plenty confident 22-year-olds out there. But yeah, and in my music, I've always stuck to what I've done and stayed true to myself. And I didn't want to follow in anyone else's footsteps. I didn't want to be the next someone. And I kind of, if my music was different, then I thought, well, I'm not going to change my music. I'm just going to make my own way through it. But but then as a person, I'm a bit more shy and a little more reserved. And yeah, I guess like confidence, it takes a fair while to kind of build your confidence up, especially when you're singing vulnerable songs, because they're written about your life experiences. And if people don't really like your song, which is completely fine, because not everyone is going to like your music, that's just a fact. But it can almost feel like it's a part of me that you're not liking if you don't like this song because it's my experience.
So you're giving us a lot of yourself. Is there areas that you can't be an open book, you've got to close things off because you're still coming to terms with it yourself?
I've always been a very open person. I guess I've always been like, if I'm sad, I'll always like call people. I'm like, I'm sad, help me. But yeah, I think there's definitely like a certain element. I do have some songs that I've written that are just crazy vulnerable that I would be absolutely terrified thinking of ever releasing them. I'm never releasing them into the world.
Yeah, I can understand that. Well, the first single from the album is a track called I Don't Like You. Hopefully it's not about me.
Of course not.
So what did he do to you? Come on, tell us, because we don't like him either.
Well, he did some pretty questionable things.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and when he did that and he kind of asked for a second chance, I realised obviously he didn't like me all that much, but I kind of wasn't too hurt by it. So I was like, oh, well, I obviously don't actually like you that much either. So that made it pretty easy. See ya.
And has he heard the song? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know if he would know that it's about him either.
Oh, okay. He's like one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I do remember when he was asking for the second chance, I was like, well, you should have thought of that the first time. And that's the main hook of the song. So I don't know if it would click.
One of the lines in the song you sing, I know I'm hard to love, but I want you to try. Shouldn't it be that way anyway? We shouldn't all be easy to love. We should be hard to love. Yeah,
and I think that's just, everyone can be hard to love because everyone has flaws. And that's just, I guess it's just the fact. And when I wrote that song, it started out that I was really sad. I was like, I just want you to try and love me. Wow.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, I was like, no, like, I know I'm hard to love, but I'm worth trying for. Yeah. So stuff you.
I have no doubt about that whatsoever. Well, Camille, good luck with everything and be safe. Enjoy your van. You're out at the moment, folks. It is called Camille Trail. It's River of Sins. Look for it. It's doing very well on the charts, and I dare say it'll go a bit higher than number 5, I feel. But we've got your current single here ready to go, Camille. I look forward to further chats with you when you can eventually get down our way as well. So I know you got some gigs later in the year, but we don't want to jinx them by talking about them, I find, at the moment. So I'm avoiding talking about them. But good luck with everything. Please stay safe. We've got your current single here. If you could please introduce it to us, and thank you so much for spending time with us on Flow today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My name's Camille Trail, and this is my brand new single, I Don't Like You.
Every time you come to town, turn off my phone and leave it for a while. I love that cheeky smirk. This charming act of yours ain't gonna work. You think I can forget in a day? Pack up the hurt, the bad stuff away. Now it's in my hands. You're begging me for one more chance. I know you're thinking you work. You don't like much.